Hello everybody, how are we all doing? Hope you're well. Right, getting a bit rusty at all of this. Gotta get all my screens up and everything else. Faff and hassle. Should have enough batteries. And there's the usual bong to tell me that I've gone live as if I didn't know. Anyway, welcome to all of you that are already into the chat. We also have a few people already joining up for the channel membership thing, which I'll talk about more in a little bit. We'll let everybody kind of filter in as they usually do. There'll always be some people that are fashionably late to the live stream, but everybody is welcome here, no matter what time they turn up at. So while everyone turns up, let's ask you all what you've all been doing. Have you been going out? Have you been getting haircuts? Have you been going to the pub? I'm not going to judge here. I'm just interested. I'm just curious. I would love to know. We've got some questions already, so I'll go through some of those while you let me know what you've been up to. John RB has noticed that I don't tend to review SUVs. That's not strictly true, John. I have done a few of them. Did the Kia Sportage, which is a little one. I did the Range Rover, the full fat Range Rover, and I was scheduled to do the Jaguar F-Pace, but that was one of the many reviews that got cancelled because of all the COVID stuff happening here. So that it's just not a category of car that I'm especially interested in. And the thing is, I'm in a very fortunate position where there's enough stuff out there that I can film that does interest me, that also fills my schedule so totally and completely. I mean, I've literally, I've got no days free in July or August. Completely packed months. Crazy. Andy says he's got a 996 C4S, and would there be any point upgrading to the 996 Turbo? Not for me. I wouldn't. I always liked the 996 C4S. Great car. Really great car. I didn't think that the Turbo brought that much to the party. However, I have recently filmed a review of a modified 996 Turbo, which does change things a little bit. So that review is going to be coming out on the channel in a little bit. So let's go through. Let's get back down. Here we go. Okay, so we've got loads and loads of people. We've got the usual. We've got Bib. We've got Owen. We've got Easy, however it's said. A kind sponsor. Rowat asks, any word on the ITBs, which is all the parts for the S2000? Excellent question to ask. I mean, I'd paid for them and everything, and I just hadn't collected them. So I'm glad that you've mentioned it. I have just emailed the guy that's got all the parts that I bought from, so I'm really hoping he's not a scam or anything. And I'm gonna go over there and hopefully grab those sometime in the next month. All the plans for stuff with the Honda probably pushed back a little bit now. Got a whole bunch of stuff to do. Yes, I accidentally bought a Ferrari. And various other things. And you know what the real problem is with the Honda? I had that thing over 10,000 miles. It has probably about 13, 14,000 miles, I guess. It has not missed a beat. Not at all. I completely love that car, and I'm just worried if I start mucking about with it, it'll lose some of that reliability. So yeah. So we got James Krause, we got Tim, we got Chris, we got Sam, we got everyone. So people have been washing their cars. People have been trying to. Wow, Michael's local barber usually charges £8, and it's now up to £22 a go. Well, I suppose that's market forces at work. I reckon. And here we go here. Do I worry? Here's an interesting one. Do I worry about having cameras in shot? Because when I'm filming, I'm running 6 cameras simultaneously. And yes, I do worry about having cameras in shot. I try and do my best so that each camera doesn't see any other cameras in the same shot. Doesn't always work. Some cars it's easy, some cars it's difficult. 911s are quite difficult. The Bentley Continental GT that I had last weekend as a press car, that was easy for unsurprising reasons because the thing is vast. So yeah. Okay. Alan has been doing mostly nothing, it would seem. Raucus is learning how to podcast. Yeah, and you know what, Raucus, editing audio is a mare, isn't it? It's absolutely horrible. One of the reasons I wound up stopping doing some of the podcasts that I'd done before. Yeah. Joji, when I met Adam Ivor for the E92 M3 review, which is something that I did recently, that's coming out in about a week. So there's 2 cars of Adam's I filmed. I filmed the E92 and I filmed his Civic EG6, and he had to go in the Ferrari. So yeah, did he give me any advice for what to do and where to go in Japan? Not especially. We didn't talk Japan too much. I know he absolutely loves the place, and we probably will talk about it a little bit. The problem with Japan is, at the moment, as the rules stand right about now, if I go to Japan, I have to quarantine for 2 weeks when I get there. It's only a 3-week trip that I've got planned. But those rules are only enforced till the end of July, and I'm not going until the end of September. So it's all very confusing. I'm really hoping that by the end of September that it's going to be relaxed a little bit more. The issue is that I can't really book anything. My Airbnb cancelled itself for Japan, I presume because of all the stuff going on. But I can't really book anything until it's been confirmed that I definitely am going. But of course, nobody's really going to confirm that because nobody actually knows. That's a pain. That is a pain. Aaron asks, do I have a Transmission One video about Aston Martin coming? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I have recorded it. I may re-record it because I just wasn't too happy with how it came out. So yes, that's definitely a thing. That's definitely gonna come out. Okay. Did I watch the Formula One today? No, I didn't. I was out filming today. I was filming a Clio V6 this morning, which car I've wanted to do for absolutely ages. This particular car, we've been trying to organise this review for close on to a year. And yeah, really, really glad to have got that done because that's a legendary car. That was a lot of fun. So evening Benzina Paul, good to see you as always. Ben asks, have I driven a Giulio Quadrifoglio? Yes, driven and reviewed. Matthews just bought himself a 981 GTS in sapphire blue. Congratulations to you. Owen's just gone down to Cheddar Gorge and found it was hellish and crowded. I tried to review something yesterday, 997, and it was mad. It was like Monday morning rush hour. I've not known anything like it. So one of the issues I've been having, so in the last sort of 3-4 weeks, I've slowly been resuming normal filming. And the biggest issue that I've had, the first month of lockdown, when I wasn't filming, was amazing. Was great. The roads were dead. Fantastic. Loved it. But the last month or so, normally, before all this happened, I'd be like, yeah, if I film something on a Tuesday at 11 o'clock in the morning, the roads are mine. Done. Easy. And now, at no point can I really predict whether the roads are going to be empty or busy. There's no pattern. And it's a problem because, not that I'm trying to court trouble, but ordinarily, you're not going to get the police sitting on a nice, lovely country road in the middle of a day on a Wednesday. It's just not worth their time. But now, when the sun comes out, all the bikers are coming out to play, so the police are out and about. While I was filming the EG6 review with Adam, and that car is obscenely loud. I mean, it sounds awful, horrible sounding thing. It sounds like 1,000 angry bees that have just had a really dodgy meal and they're all dying a death in a toilet inside a tin can. Not a good sound. And I was filming and the camera, this big camera actually fell off its mount. Never happened before. So what it turned out was that the EG6 has a sun strip on it, but the sun strip was on the inside of the windshield, not the outside. So that the suction mount was just over the top of a sticker. Schoolboy error, whatever, no harm, no foul, camera's fine, mount was fine, car was fine, everything's okay. So I stop, I pull over, so I pull up in the EG, Adam's behind me, so we can keep separate, he's in the M3. And I'm just trying to get this camera mounted back up, all these cameras on the car, and I stick my head up, and there's a police van just sat right there. And they're both looking at me, and I'm like, oh no. And guy says, what are you up to? And I was like, well, I'm filming, doing some stuff with this car. And he's like, oh, right, yeah. We've had some noise complaints. And it's like, have you? Really? What a surprise. Nearly 600 films I've made, and never, not once, not ever, had a chat with the police during one, ever. And I mean, I suspect what it was, because I'd heard them about, there were a bunch of bikers out, and you know, we were just there. And I wasn't worried about being done really for anything because it was like 6 o'clock at night, so we weren't really keeping anyone up. And that Civic, noisy it may have been, fast it was not. So, you know, you could make a hell of a racket and only be doing about 60 mile an hour at best. So that was fine. That was fine. So I'm, yeah, so that was interesting. But you know what, the police were very, very good. They were very, very decent. And I said, look, you know, sorry if we making too much racket, let us know and all that jazz. And we carried on. And then when we came back the other way, there was about 4 police cars all parked up and waved at them. They waved back and they gave us no hassle. So yeah, it was fine. John T, any news on an Integrale drive and review? Yes, driving one next week. So I'm looking forward to that. George has had an eventful day, and George is going to help me with filming a bunch of cars, which I'm very much looking forward to. So, and I'll meet up with George. I'm going to see you soon in a little bit. Sam's been watching some good revival stuff. Yeah, they've got loads of stuff. They've uploaded loads of old stuff, or I see it keep getting recommended to me, and some of it's quite good fun. Actually, if I'm like tidying the study, or yeah, I don't tidy the study very often anymore. I'm busy now, but if I'm pretending to tidy the study or doing my accounts, which I unfortunately do have to do, I'll put it on in the background. It's just lovely to hear the sound of these old things being thrashed and given hell for leather, which is lovely. Kevin is getting a new screen for his M2C, I presume you mean the BM M2 Comp. Any tips for checking the work of auto glass? Are they usually pretty good, to be fair? Just look at it, make sure it's okay. They're pretty decent. They're pretty decent. Oh, here's an interesting one from James Craggs. Do I get a 991 Carrera S and use daily, or a 997.2 turbo and use on the weekend? Why not get a 997.2 turbo and use it daily? Why not do that? I want to say a big thank you to Richard Cowdery, who's just made a donation. Thank you very much. And as we've got some people here, we now have, I have been waiting for it for absolutely ages, but we now have channel memberships available, which is replacing, over the next like month or two, it's going to replace entirely my Patreon. For some reason, I don't know why, you only need like, it's 25 or 50k or something to get channel memberships, but for some reason YouTube were very odd and they didn't offer it to me until I got to 100k. So all it is there's like 3 levels of it where you can, and that's my assistant Darren who's messaging me. He can go away. Sorry, Darren. Love you, babe, but bye. There's 3 levels of it. One's like $1.99, one's like $4.99, and one's like $17.99. And if you do it, pretty much most of them, you get a lot of the same stuff. There are differences. Go and see it. And the idea is it's a little donation every month, and there's bonus footage that you get because of that. So I put up today, there's a review that I did of the Kia Picanto that I thought was really funny when I filmed it, but tonally, I don't think it came across how I wanted it to. I've also got stuff coming up, so there's a lot of stuff that was on the Patreon that's going to come there. So I did my first ever video, I did with a director's commentary on it, so rewatching the first YouTube video I ever did. All sorts of stuff like that. So for people that want to sort of do that, that is now a thing. So you'll see the little join button below the below all the videos you watch. But anyway, enough of that. Enough of that. Sam, have I ever been in an Ultima? I haven't ever been in an Ultima. I want to. At least one person has offered me a go in one, and I do very much look forward to it. Quite a difficult car to social distance in. But I'm hoping to I'm hoping to get a go of it. Yeah, few people seem to be surprised that the Formula One is back, because I was as well after all the moaning, whinging, and whining about it. Yeah. All right. Let me see. We've got a few. So Matt has got. Hi James. In the style of a 1970s scantily clad penthouse pet at the Elscott Motor Show, who would you like draped over your 550 and a picture on the wall behind me? Yeah, interesting one. I have actually thought of doing some 1990s style like Pirelli calendar promotional picture stuff just for fun, obviously not for public consumption, with the 550s. I don't know, maybe that's something I'll do for a laugh at some point, but I have so many other things going on at the minute. Yeah. Owen, so look for the 996 C2 CSR, which is RPM Technics' little attempt at making the 911 a little bit more exciting. I have emailed RPM Technic because I would love to have featured one of their products. They didn't even reply, so I'm aware of it. I love what they're doing, but yeah. They don't reply. So nothing I can do unless I can find someone with a CSR car. Nothing I can do. Will Aston Martin survive as they need more money again? Asks Mr. Bravo. That will be answered in the Aston Martin video. Clio V6, was it a phase 1 or a phase 2? It was phase 2. It was a 2004 car in black. Very nice, really, really cool car. Very interesting. Very, very, very different. Very different. Chris asks, am I going to get the 550 detailed professionally? Well, I actually already have. The 550 and I made a little trip out on Friday. I did just shy of 400 miles in the day. I drove down to the New Forest to see a guy called the Detailing Doctor, who had got in touch with me before I'd released the fact that I had the 550, and he basically offered me and said, like, look, if you want something done on one of your cars, come down and you know I'll do a correction on one of your cars. So I knew that the 550 was incoming, and I had a suspicion that it would need some correction. So I got in touch with him, and yeah, went down there, had a 3-stage correction, had some sealant put on it, and the car looks great, way better than it did. Obviously, it's not perfect because it's 21 years old with like 95,000 miles on the clock, but yeah, that has been done. So next. Okie dokie. Joel asks, have I ever had an instance of a don't drive your hero car, i.e. an incredibly disappointing car that I always dreamt of owning? The car that came closest to that, and it's, I don't want it to sound like I'm being too hard on the car, but E60 M5. Maybe even more so E46 M3. Actually, the E60 M5 I can kind of forgive a few things, but the E46 M3 was just yeah, it's just not a car that I'm in love with at all, at all. Duncan wants me to review the D-Type at Total Head Turners. They have said that I can. I don't know when I'm going to be back down there next, because I did so much content with them. I want to sort of mix it up a little bit. There's one more car to come from them, so a lot of people spotted it in today's review, the crazy Cougar thing. There was in the background an Oldsmobile 442. A lot of people sort of had an idea what it was. It's an Oldsmobile 442 that I reviewed. So that is going to be the next video out. It's out tomorrow, actually. So yeah, there you go. Osvaldo has asked the question, and Tim has answered correctly. I always prefer supercharging over turbocharging. Do I plan to remount the 550? No. Have I been to the pub in the 550 for a Diet Coke? No, I haven't. But I did take it to McDonald's. You know, YouTuber thing. Didn't film it though. It's just a silly thing to film. I did get KFC in the Bentley press car. I'm sure people do. Much worse. No, I've got lots and lots of plans for places to take the 550. There's plans to take it up to Scotland in August. There are plans to go to Europe as well. I'll probably go to Holland. I've been invited over there by a lovely guy called Harold, who's organised some amazing stuff to drive. That's probably going to be, that trip is going to be literally a week before I go to Japan. So I'm actually going to be going to Japan and trying to have an actual proper holiday. I might even set like the first like week or so just to rest, relax, and all that stuff. But I do have this plan. I only want to film maybe like half a dozen videos, like 6 to 10 videos, something like that, while I'm in Japan over 3 weeks, which is like really lazy for me. And one day I just want to get a nice car, and I know a guy out there does car rental. I want to get a nice car and drive to Mount Fuji, because I think that could be a really genuinely special thing to do. So, yeah. Okay. Have I seen the promo film for the new Land Rover Defender copy thing to be built in Bridgend? Is that the Ineos Grenadier, whatever it is? Yeah, it's interesting. Landmaster's asked if I've driven a 2CV yet. Would I like to? No, I haven't. And yes, I would. Yes, I would, because I've driven the Beetle, and I think it would be only fair to drive the 2CV as well. So yeah, Owen, there's not too much of a delay. It's me. I'm working my way through all the questions. So sorry about that. What do I think of the noise regulations at UK circuits? Well, yeah, they're a bit silly. They're a little bit aggressive. But the most annoying thing is they're inconsistent. So when I had my M3, I did 2 track days back to back. One at Cadwell and one at Donington, and a little bit before I did at Snetterton, and they all had precisely the same noise limit, published noise limit. Cadwell, Snetterton, 0 problems, none. Donington, they tell me off. Car's too loud. Great, lovely. What's the point in having numbers? It's ridiculous. Aki asks what tyres I've got on the 550. They're Bridgestones, and I'm probably going to put some Yokohamas or Michelins or something on it. Would I ever do a collab with Matt Watson from Carwow? Yeah, I guess. What cleaning products do I use on the 550? I don't tend to do many cleaning videos these days. I mean, I'm going to do the one of a professional cleaning the car. I use some Sam's detailing stuff, and I use a bit of Valet Pro. They're the kind of main two, really. What's the slowest car I've ever done a track day with, and did I still enjoy it? The 550. And sort of. I was doing it for the pictures. I went to Brands Indy. I shouldn't have gone to Brands Indy. Brands Indy is an awful circuit. I hate it. Unless you're in a little Clio or something, it's just not fun. I really, really don't like it. Yeah. So yeah. What's the fastest old car, in my opinion, that I drove that seemed the most powerful? I drove a 993 Turbo once that was modified to about 550 brake, and that felt very quick. Very, very quick. Welcome, Sparky. Good to have you in. Here's a tricky one from Jeremy. The new 992 or the Vantage. I've driven the 992 and I didn't like it. I haven't driven the Vantage. At a guess, I'm going to say Vantage. I still desperately want to drive the new Vantage. Funny story, I did review the new DBS by mistake. Lovely chap got in touch. Email me, as many people do. Hello, James, like we do. I got some cars. He had a Resto Mod 911, which I have reviewed. I got a modified 4C, which I will review. And I've got an Aston DBS. I thought, I love the DBS. Ever since Casino Royale, what a car. Still dream car material. Still would happily have one next to the Ferrari. So I thought the last time I reviewed the DBS, it was in London. It was not the right place to do it, but I at that time I didn't know when I'd get the chance to do it again. So I did it. It was a silly thing to do, but I thought, you know what? All those guys in Surrey, which is also a terrible, terrible place to review a car, I'll pop by because I was going near that way anyway, and I'll take the DBS out for a spin, try and do a better review on it, because some of the old reviews I've done can definitely be improved. So I turn up to this guy's house, lovely place, nice big garage, opens the garage doors. That's the new DBS, isn't it? Bugger. So, yeah, I wound up taking out the new 720 horsepower DBS by complete accident, which is nice. As how my life goes these days. It's very entertaining. I do enjoy it sometimes. Owen, don't worry. No worries about me ruining the result of the F1. The last time I really paid any attention to Formula One, Johnny Herbert was still a serious contender. Johnny, I need to review a Lambo. Yes, Johnny, you're correct, I do. Okay. Do I like the RWE 911 conversions? they're interesting. They are. I was actually supposed to have reviewed one, but it got postponed. I've filmed the first half of the review because we were going to do a before and after. So I was working with Sam's detailing, and I filmed his 964 before it got converted, and then it should have already been converted. Should have already been done. Okay. David's thinking of swapping his 987 Boxster for something else of a similar price range. The problem, David, is that you're going to struggle. I would say the things to look at would be Z4M Roadster, if you can find one for 10k. Not sure you can. S2000, but I don't think you'd like the S2000 coming from a 987. Or the SLK 55. Those would be the initial ones that sort of spring to mind. Okay. All right. Danny asks, what do I think of a decent 348 as a starting point in the world of Ferrari? Well, my mate Jack, number 27, really rates the 348. He thinks it is a bit of a misunderstood car. Personally, I'm not so sure. When it comes to Ferraris, and this is true of a lot of brands, make sure you buy a car that you love, because if something goes wrong with it, and these are old cars, these are old, handmade Italian cars, there is a good chance something's going to go wrong with it. Make sure it's a car that you're going to love, even when it's costing you money. So don't buy it just because you want to get your first Ferrari, you want it cheap. If you always wanted a 348, get one. But I think they're I think they're just a little bit too much money for what they are. That's me anyway. Matt wants to know what camera setup I use for the live stream. So it's actually what I use for the live stream. I'm very cheeky. I use my Panasonic. I use my GH5 with my Sennheiser wireless mic setup, and it's plugged into a little thing called a cam link, which is just an HDMI to USB adapter, and it all works quite well. I got this because my girlfriend's uncle had this and he wasn't using it, because in lockdown, when I realised I was going to start doing some live streams, I went to buy a webcam, and there were none. They literally all sold out. Okay, what's the car I most regret selling? Common question, and the answer is still a 130i, my BM 130i. Paul asks, any regrets on buying the 550? Not yet, not yet. If anything, it's getting better. It really is. The reception, the experience, the everything. People love it. They really do. I've not had any trouble with it so far. Chris, thank you very much for your kind donation, your fun little emoji thing. Have I heard about BBR GTI's Super 225 package for the MX-5? Yeah, I have. I like the sound of it. I want to go. I want to go of one of those. What is my next car? I'm kind of all sort of carred out, as it were, at the moment. Tim asks about the 442, who clearly knows his stuff. Is that the 4-barrel carb, 4-speed, 2 tailpipes? You are correct, Tim. Unfortunately, this car, as with many muscle cars of that period, was equipped with a 3-speed auto instead as an upgrade. But yeah, that's what the 442 is named for. Ian had the police firearms unit knock on his door to ask about his Volvo Polestar. Oh, I still need to have a go. Someone offered me a go of their V60 Polestar, and I haven't taken them up on it. I really want to go one of those, but they're tricky cars to find. They are cool. Hello, Florence. Okay. What's the fastest car I've ever driven? Well, the fastest car I've driven, technically, I think will be the XJ220. Because I think they did about 217 mile an hour. The fastest I've driven was 174 mile an hour in the new RS6 on the German Autobahn, playing Push It to the Limit from Scarface. That was fun. That was a good memory. I enjoyed that quite a bit, I'll be honest. Okay. I should review some old Ford RS. Well, funnily enough, doing some of those next week. As it's same for the Lancia Delta Integrale. what's the bet that I wind up loving Japanese car culture and film every day when I'm in Japan? 50-50, I think. Okay. I recently said that my dad had a 308. He had a 328. Did he have any other cool or noteworthy cars that I liked when I was a child? Yeah, he had the XKR, the first one. He had a 996 911 when it was a fairly new thing, C4, and a 997 C2S that we collected from the factory. That was quite an experience. Okay. Will I ever get the chance to drive a Type 14 Lotus Elite? I don't know. I don't know. Thoughts on the Ferrari Roma? Interesting, actually. You know what? When it first came out, wasn't taken with it. Wasn't taken with it at all. Not sure what they were trying with the styling. As I've looked at it a little bit more, I kind of do like it. And in the right colour combo, hell of a thing. And that interior looks really special as well. They got kind of like a whole divided thing. Must be social distancing stuff. So, yeah. Okay. All right. Anthony wants my views on the Exige S. He's just purchased an 07 Club Racer with under 30,000 miles. They're lovely. They're all lovely cars. Personally, I've always been a fan of the V6 Exiges because they just seem a little bit more relaxed than the earlier ones, which are just little rattle boxes. But, you know, people have a love of all of them for various different reasons. Joe wants to know if I've been to Cabwell. Yes, I have been to Cabwell, and I filmed it. I was there in my M3. I had a lot of fun. Do they hold track days at Brands GP? Yeah, they absolutely do. They absolutely do. Okay. Oh, Paul wants me to get negative, but Paul, you must know that I never say negative things in my videos. All right, the worst Ferrari, the worst Aston, the worst Lambo, and the worst Porsche. And I'd like you to all give me your votes on this. Okay, let's say this because you know I've said a lot of Ferrari love recently, but what's the worst Ferrari? What is the worst Ferrari? And I think here's the funny thing. I know there's a guy called John Pogson who absolutely loves the 308 GT4. No, the Mondial. The Mondial is the one he loves. The 3.2 Mondial. He thinks it's amazing. And it's one of those cars I think people just look at and go like, why Ferrari? Why? Now, I might previously have said the 599 because it's ugly, but I drove it and actually really liked it, so that's out. I really like the 308. I don't like the Testarossa, but I don't think I could call it the worst Ferrari because it's iconic. Maybe the 308 GT4 because it is horrifically ugly. The worst Porsche, well, to be fair, the 992 that I drove, didn't like that. Worst Lambo, I don't know. Tough one. I don't really know enough Lambos, to be fair. Worst Aston. Oh, the Lagonda. The early Lagonda. What a horrible, honkingly ugly car. Awful thing. Okay. All right. So, carry on here. Oh, Patrick, thank you very much. Thank you very kindly for your donation. I do apologise, everyone, if things are coming to you in a little bit of an odd order. Actually, you've been fantastic with the questions this evening. Keep them coming. I will work my way through them, please. When is the JayEmm meet happening? Yes, it will happen. It will happen. It will happen. Good mate of mine wants to organise a meet. It will happen. I don't know when. I'm going to try and maybe get it for when I come back from Japan, something like that. Not sure. Okay. Is an Audi R8 V8 worth a look? Yes. Hello, Zippy. Thoughts on the Z4 E89 30i? Lovely car, but not a sports car, a cruiser. Would I review an 850 CSI? Yes, I absolutely would if I could get my hands on one. Okay. Why everyone's asking me about the Delta Integrale today? This is about the fourth time I've been asked about a Delta Integrale. No, I have not reviewed a Lancia Delta Integrale, but next week I will have. Okay. Any chance of a video of Grandad's Triton out on the road? Yeah, at some point. I have no idea when though. I would love to do that. Any coolant leaks from the 7 Series? I thought it was fixed. It's not. It is leaking coolant again. I'm hoping. There's quite a few other places that the car can leak coolant from. It definitely was leaking from the water pump. So what we had done to it needed to be done. But no, it's now back having more stuff done to it. It's the eternal thing. I mean, like, people ask about like Ferrari ownership. Like, Ferrari ownership has been a breeze compared to BMW 7 Series ownership. I can tell you all. When am I going to drive a Tickford Ford Capri? I have no idea. Do I think the Cougar that I reviewed today was inspired by the Allard? It might be, and I think the guy said it was also the Fraser Nash TT replica or something. It is inspired by. Yeah. Okay. So after driving the Influenzo, have I got any other plans for collaborations with other car YouTubers, UK car YouTubers? Yes, there are some plans. Patrick, thank you for your donation. And Patrick wants to know, once it's properly warmed up, how's the 550's gated shifter and clutch smoothness compared to the Audi R8? So the clutch on the 550 is amazing. It's very, very heavy, but it's really easy to use. The car just pulls so easily. Totally different to the Aston V12s, which are very easy to stall. 550, I've let quite a few people drive the car. Nobody has stalled it. Very nice, very friendly, but yeah, just heavy. Once it's warmed, the gear shift is actually really nice, but it's slower than the Audis. It's more deliberate, and I will actually do an entire video dedicated to how to use a Ferrari gated shifter, because people keep talking about it like it's some mythical, legendary beastie, and it's just, you need to understand it and you need to work with it. Like, you can't tell it what to do. It's a sort of two-way conversation, and once you get it, it's really nice to use. But it is a tricky little so-and-so. I mean, the first day of me driving the Ferrari, I was convinced the gearbox was shot. And actually, it's it's great. The gearbox is beautiful. So yeah. Tim noticed, yes, Florence is definitely trying to get into the stream. Michael asked about Magnitude Events, which is a company that I still have. We did Euro trips and we did track days and things like that, and the simple fact was that YouTube took up so much of my time that I just don't do it anymore. It's a dormant company that I need to find somebody to take over for me. Have I driven a Maserati Grand Sport? You traded a 550 for one. Oh, Paul, we cannot be friends. We cannot. Look, I actually thought, if things hadn't worked out with finance and whatnot, if things hadn't worked out, and I hadn't been able to get the 550, a Grand Sport was actually one of the cars I was really considering. My buddy Jack actually had one, and he hated it. He's a great engine. The rest of it, awful. But I was really tempted. I was really, really tempted. What's the weirdest, funniest thing that's been mentioned about me on the Pistonheads forum? I don't have time for that. I do not have time for that. Do I think the new A45 or CLA45 will change my mind on the small Mercs? It's possible. It's possible. Am I a subscriber to the Car Guys? Yes, I am. Yes, I am. And Damien from the Car Guys even had a cameo in one of my videos. Not too many people noticed it. UK TV tagged me in some funny pictures on Instagram, which were like modified versions of my face doing funny things. What did I think of them? They're a bit weird, being totally honest. It was a bit weird. Okay, worst Ferrari, 412i automatic. Oh, yeah. Could be. Or worst Aston is the Signet. Oh, it could be the Signet, couldn't it? Yeah, that could be quite fun. Do I think Doug DeMuro has watched my 550 video talking about him? I highly doubt it, because he's probably got a lot less time to watch YouTube than even I do. Yeah. Oh, well, Henry likes the 308 GT4. There's gonna be people that love the 308. I'm sure. What's my favourite TVR? Good question. Probably the Tuscan. I do love the Tuscan. Do really love it. Okay. I swallow. What YouTuber do I think doesn't deserve their views or subscriber numbers? I'm not gonna name. Actually, no. Logan Paul. Yeah, Logan Paul. No. All YouTubers that do. I hate any YouTube channel, and nearly all the YouTube channels with like 10, 20, 30 million views that obviously appeal to a younger audience than me, all of their titles make no sense. Like, you'd never know what the video was. You won't believe what I've done. Oh my God, I did this. All right, okay. Sure, I mean, like, once in a while, you know, I've done it. My dream car, da-da. But you can't make every video of that. Like, Jesus. Yeah. Does the 550 only play 1990s dance music? Yes. Okay. Marky says the turbo just blown on his Polo GTI, 16 plate. Repair or sell? Help. Marky, speak to Volkswizard. He is the man to ask about that. Thoughts, FPL Fantasy Arabia says, thoughts on a Levante over a Cayman. I mean, it is the Maserati that's probably going to have the best chance of going over a Cayman. So, yeah. Would I risk 20k on a Maserati GT Coupe? Maybe. Maybe. Am I going to do anything about the melting buttons in the 550? Yes, I have a plan to do that already, but it's a little while away. It's just an annoyance at the minute. It's just an annoyance. That's it. Okay. All right. Here's a random one from Michael. What car was it that I viewed in Stockport that I did not buy? I went to look at a car and I didn't reveal what it was. And I didn't buy it. And this is when I bought my 130i. It was a Celica GT4, is what it was. And it was at a dealer. And I went to look at it. And it was a red one, because I quite like the idea of a red one. And it was fresh from Japan. No rust. I went and looked at it. And it was... The dealership was shady as all hell for a start. Really weird. And the car was awful. The car was absolutely awful. The door was all bubbling up. And they're like, oh, no rust on it. Like, nah. No. Okie dokie. So, thoughts on the Fiat Coupe? Yeah, interesting cars. Never driven one. Would love to. My dad had 3 of them. Why is the 612 Scaglietti so underappreciated? That's a great question. You know what, though? They've gone up in price a fair bit. I remember, must be 6 or 7 years ago now, I was at a dealer and they had a 612 in and it had 49,995 like hanging in the window. And I was like, you guys, you're missing a 1 there, aren't you? And they were like, no, that's the price. I was like, well, what's wrong with it? And it's like, nothing. I mean, they're an odd car. Everyone, including me, thought they had the 599 engine. They don't. It's a version of the 575 lumps as related to the 550. They're huge. That's, I think, one of the big problems. They're absolutely massive. The problem is now you can get an FF for nearly the same money. I don't think it's a particularly good-looking Ferrari. But very usable, very, very, very decent car. I think most people probably just get a Panamera or a Range Rover or something instead. So it's not a car that did anything wrong, but 4-seater Ferraris have always took a massive hit in depreciation. It's going to be expensive to run because, yeah, the 550 only does about 18 to the gallon, and the 612 is even bigger and heavier. So, yeah. Okay. What do I think of Rover as a brand? Bit of a shame, really, isn't it? They were once great, and now they're not. The Rover's demise was very sad. I was one of those people that were like, oh, good, Rover's gone, because I grew up with crap Rovers. As simple as that. And actually, as I've sort of got older, I've realised that they weren't all that crap. Some of them were quite good, and it's a shame, you know. Hey-ho. All right. Random, but favourite sitcom? It's not random. It was good to have non-car questions, to be fair. Always used to like the young ones. Bottom. I know it's not a sitcom, but it's a sketch show. But I loved the Fast Show. And Goodness Gracious Me. Goodness Gracious Me was amazing. Miami Vice or Magnum PI? Oh, that's a tricky one. Do quite like both of them. I've only recently started watching Magnum PI, to be fair. I haven't really ever watched much of it. Okay. What are my thoughts on the right to repair on cars? Something introduced on Chevy cars in America. People are stopping people being able to fix their own cars in the future. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Ferrari 400 at 50k, good investment? No. Don't think so. Although, somebody did offer me a potential go, like someone they know maybe has a Ferrari 400, and I was going to say no, and then I looked at it and I was like, actually, like, I kind of do like the looks of the 400. Like, I think it's only because it's a Ferrari that I expect it to look quite different, but actually, when I looked at it, I thought, God, it's got a look about it. It's got a real thing. It's got a presence. Yeah. Okay. So, what do we got here? I tell you what's really annoying. So, when I've got the live chat up here, when I'm sort of getting near to the bottom and I'm just about working out what I'm doing, when somebody then types, the whole thing just goes, bah! So I'm like, lose my place. Oh, here's a good one. So this is from Osvaldo. What's scarier, a Dodge Viper or an angry TVR? I think the Viper, actually. Here's the reasoning. The TVRs that I've driven, the engines need work. So the Speed 6 Nat, not particularly torquey lump. You really need to rev it to get the best out of it. And the thing communicates very, very well. The Viper has a lot of torque. And it's also got much, much bigger rear tyres. So physics dictates that as and when things go wrong, in the Viper, they're going to go wrong a lot faster. And, yeah, it's a scary old beast. Scary beast. And the Viper is huge as well. Absolutely huge. Okay. Have I driven a V8 Rover 75? Well, sort of. I drove the MG ZT 260 with a supercharger on it, which I did a video, the ZT 400, or whatever it's called. So that was, yeah, that was a nice experience, actually. I enjoyed that, really enjoyed that. Okay. All right, so I'm getting into the bottom, so keep the questions coming through. All 203 of you, we've got a good one. So, did I see the Seen Through Glass podcast about McLaren? Did they mention my video? I watched it. I didn't think that they did mention the video. I need to rewatch it again then, because I watched it. I thought I would get a mention in it, and I didn't think that I did. So maybe I've misjudged them. I enjoyed the video. I mean, they didn't say anything particularly revelatory. If you didn't watch it, I mean, the one bit about it that was quite amazing was Tony in his 570, I think it was. The electrics shut down on it, and because of the way the doors work, even with the emergency door release, it will unlock the door, but it doesn't drop the glass. So literally the only way he could get out of the car was smash the window. And I can quite easily see if that's happened to you in a car, you're literally trapped in it, and the only way to get out is to break the window. I can very easily see why you would not want to buy one of those again. So it's stuff like that McLaren just, it won't change anything, their video, because mine didn't change a single thing, but, hey-ho. All right. Niall's thinking about the total head turners Viper. It's a nice car. It's got a good history because it spent a lot of time abroad. I think it's been in Malta for quite a while, so go and ask them about it. I know they've had it for a while simply because it's silver. That's the reason that it's not sold, I think. So go and see it. The thing needs a bit of driving. That's what it needs. It needs an Italian tune-up, but it's a decent car. Best 6-cylinder hot hatch. Not the Clio V6. Not the 147 GTA. I've not driven a Golf R32. I guess it would have to be the M140. I actually prefer the 130R though. It's not really a hot hatch, to be fair. Okay. Do I think the public are going to realise that supercars are just too powerful now and they're going to look for more sweet spots? Yeah, I do. They're super expensive. They're too fast to use. I think, yeah, people are going to be, and this is, this all happened in the bike world 15 years ago, 10, 15 years ago, where litre bikes, even 600s, got to the point where they were so obscenely fast, riding them was going to end one or two ways. You were going to lose your license or you were going to lose your life. Simple as that. So a lot of people started getting into classics. It's what my dad did, started getting back into the bikes that were much slower that he drove as a kid and enjoyed them a lot more. So I spent my youth driving 1970s 250 two-strokes, which was interesting. And I think very much the same thing's happening with cars. People are going, you know what, we are not interested in the latest or the greatest or whatever. I mean, look, my 550 is very quick, a very, very fast car, and it's as a model, it's 24 years old. So you don't need something that new to be able to get in trouble, but you can have a lot more fun, a lot more excitement in old cars. So one of the reasons I bought my Lotus Evora was that it's probably the slowest of all cars I could have bought for that money, but it was also the most engaging, the most exciting, and the most special. So, and I think the general public is starting to sort of come around to that way. Have I ever driven a Noble? No, I haven't. One of my, real big things I want to do. A couple of people have offered me one, and then for various reasons it's just not happened. So yeah, I would love to do a Noble. Casey asks, are there any American cars that we can't buy here that I wish we could? Well, actually, Casey, the way imports work, we can pretty much have anything we want. But I would have loved Ford to have brought the GT350 here, like officially, especially in right-hand drive, and same for the C7 Corvette. You could buy a C7 Corvette here, easy. But I wish they would have done that in right-hand drive, because the C7 Corvette is just such a cool car. If I had loads of money, maybe I'd try and pay to convert one. But yeah, I love it. Okay, so Owen asked an interesting question. There's sort of two bits here. What's the best handling car I've ever driven? The fastest thing to go around a turn? Because they're two quite different things there. Handling I think of as more the sort of way the car feels, the way it interacts, the way it communicates with you. Whereas how quick it goes around a turn is more like road holding. So like the Nissan GTR has some like obscene cornering abilities. It's absolutely nuts. And I have driven some. I've on the Palmer Sport Experience Day. I've driven their single seater thing with slicks and a wing on it. So that's quite quick around a turn. On the road, it's a tricky one. On the best handling cars, probably a Lotus of some sort. To be fair, they are delicious. They are really, really good handling. The 550 is good handling as well, although the Evora is better. Yeah, tricky one. Maybe an early Lotus Evora, actually. Early Lotus Evora. Probably one of the best handling, most underrated cars out there. Have I got any track days booked? No, I haven't. No, I haven't. Do I watch Casey Putsch? No, I don't. What's my opinion on the Jaguar XK-RS? Cool car, too much power, looks great though, bit dated on the inside. Why was the XK discontinued instead of continuing along the F-Type? Because they wouldn't have sold any with the F-Type being available. Simple as that, really. The F-Type was a far more modern, sexier, sleeker looking thing. The XK was a creaky old bugger by the time they discontinued it. Yeah. When a car review is approaching, Wayne asks this. No, Wayne's clearly a channel member. Thank you, Wayne. I know you are, Wayne, from being on Patreon. So when a car review is approaching, is there a lot of prep that I do beforehand? Routes, time of day, etc. Well, the routes I pretty much know. Routes I know because I try and film sort of in areas that I've been to before. I've got quite a few different places all over the country that I use. So routes is okay. Time of day, yes, that is something I pick. Usually, I start at 10 a.m. because filming generally takes about 2 hours, and that means we finish at 12, which is when the pub opens. Other than that, yeah, not really. I do a little bit of preparation research about the stats of the car, the numbers, but I try not to do too much research otherwise, because I do not want to read reviews of the car. Speaking of reviews, I actually bought something the other day. I don't know where it's gone. Here it is. Bought this old car magazine, old copy of Auto Italia, because I'm going to do a feature at some point, hopefully, on Rattarossa. So someone was asking about collaborations. There's one on Rattarossa's 355, which is an F1 Spider. And I've never driven a 355 F1. I've only driven the manuals, and so we all have our opinion now about these old F1 gearboxes. But what I wanted to know, actually, because I'm taking a different approach on this one, I actually wanted to do some research and see how people felt about them when they were a new thing. Because there's a lot of stuff that comes out, when it's new, we see it in a very, very different light to how people think of it later on. So yeah. Okay. I've never actually been to Malta, Matt. So yeah. Anthony loved his RD350LC. I actually spent quite a bit of time on, well, I spent some time on an RD400. Never drove the LC. I was a little bit late. Do I think the hot hatch horsepower thing is getting out of hand? Yes. Yes, I do. Okay. Oh, there was a question there. The damn thing keeps jumping about. Okay. Okay, there's a random one there. Have I driven an aerial Atom? No, I haven't. But I have got an offer to drive one, so it's something I'm going to do at some point. Do I think politicians are bullying us into accepting electric vehicles? Yes, I do actually. Yes, I do. I don't think that electric cars are the solution to everything, and I don't like the way that manufacturers are essentially being beaten up into building more and more EVs, because I don't think it's looking at the problem in a healthy way. I think the whole emissions and all that stuff has to be looked at as a comprehensive thing, and like all problems in life, the solution I don't think is black and white. I think there has to be a sort of middle ground that can be struck, because there are an awful lot of scenarios where an electric car simply isn't the right thing, and I think simply trying to demonize combustion engine vehicles and all that jazz is not helping, because it's just not the right solution for a lot of people. So yeah. What's my opinion on Toyota's new GR range? Yeah, I love the Yaris, but I don't like the Supra at all. Also, they seem to have put far more effort into the Yaris than they did the Supra. What's wrong with that? I don't know. Will I ever review a 987 Cayman S? Yes, I will. Yes, I will. Got a couple of plans for Cayman S's, actually. Hyde likes the hair. Thanks, Hyde. Cheers. All right. Can I get a drive in a Stratos replica? If I can, I will. If I can, I will. Roger Bailey has joined us. Hi, Roger, a fellow YouTuber. The gentleman who had these 718 Spider that I drove. Roger's surprised why I didn't like the 992. Why was that? Well, Roger, you can watch the review for the full explanation, but the brief one is that I felt it's too big. It's trying to be desperately retro in its styling when it doesn't need to be, because a 911, by virtue of being a 911, is inherently quite retro. There's no need to have all these silly retro touches. The dials look awful, and you can't actually even see some of the more important ones. You can't see the fuel gauge when you're sitting in the car. That's a rather big omission. That's something odd Porsche shouldn't have got wrong. They're clearly starting to cut corners with the car. They're starting to share parts of VW, which they never have historically. The little Braun shaver as a transmission selector is absolutely embarrassing. It's awful. 911s always used to have really, really sexy cup holders, which I know sounds like a silly thing, but it was a little piece of engineering art. 996, 997, gorgeous cup holders. 991, same thing. And in the 992, they kind of forgot to put one in. And the only reason that they would do that, after having spent clearly so much time on a cup holder, is that somebody somewhere in Stuttgart said, you know what, we need to make even more profit on the 911, which is already one of the most profitable cars in history, you know, in terms of percentage margin-wise, but they made like 47% on a 911, so that's just unnecessary. Add to the fact that the steering is just not as good as it should be, it's not 911 good, and the fact that the PDK gearbox, the new 8-speed one, just isn't quite as fast as it should be, or as decent, or as nice, and the fact the car sounds like utter dog-do, having the OPF filter and all that jazz, and there's an unusual amount of turbo lag, whereas the 991.2 actually was pretty responsive and pretty good and pretty fast, and the fact that the one I drove was supposed to be 450 horsepower, but actually didn't feel that quick. All 911s tend to feel a little bit more powerful, more quick than their numbers would suggest, but this one actually found the other way around, and that's the short version of why I don't like the 992. Hope that helped. Okay. Ever had a car I was really excited to drive and then left massively disappointed? No. I mean, I spoke about the M5 V10 earlier. Will Matt Becker, the chassis guru, go back to Lotus as Aston falters and fizzles out? I don't know, maybe. I think Gavin's probably quite happy there. The Sinclair C5 is 35 years old. Wow, who'd have known that? And also a Lotus connection there. Am I a computer enthusiast? I love these non-car questions. Yes, I am a computer enthusiast. I have a Windows PC here with an i7 in it, a very nice Asus X99 workstation board, a GTX 2080 in it, a metric boatload of hard drives around the room. And yeah, I love it. I also despise all Apple products. I think they're horrible. And yeah, therefore I have an Android phone. I have a Samsung Galaxy S10, which has plenty of its own problems. But yeah. Okay. So, will I ask Nissan for a press car, for the 400Z press car when it's on sale? Yeah, I will, but I don't know what Nissan are doing at the minute. Okay. All right. Would I ever consider doing a resto project on the channel? Not really. I mean, the Celica's off being restored, but it's yeah, it's not a process that I've been filming. I would like to film some stuff, but yeah. Have I ever gotten into an argument with a car owner, or a fight with them, or offended them? Not really. I think I upset the Abarth community and the M3 community a little bit. Why aren't modern cars hard limited to 80 or 85 instead of naturally limited to 120 or 130? It's not like going that fast is necessary. The problem is, Matt, when you're trying to do a quick overtake on a country road, getting up to sort of 80 odd is actually quite easy. And if you suddenly hit a brick wall at that speed, it might change a safe overtake into quite a dangerous one. So I think we should just let people try and be sensible. I mean, there's so many other things to worry about. Okay. Which Ferrari is going to be the lowest maintenance? Well, in terms of maintenance costs, any new one, because in the UK, Ferrari give you 4 years warranty and 7 years free servicing on every new car. So that's not bad. In fact, when I spoke to them, Ferrari even told me about a guy that was arguing with them about why he didn't take his car to a main dealer. And he had a 458 that wasn't too old. And he said, well, you can't beat the prices at my independent. And they said, is he free? And the guy didn't even realise he'd been paying thousands of pounds to have his 458 service when Ferrari would have done it free. The nice thing about Ferrari servicing as well is that if you go over the normal mileage, so it's like 12,000 miles between services, if you go more than that every year, you just get the extra services free as well, which is nice. Okay. Did I see the Lotus Type 1 watch that sold on eBay? No, I didn't. I forgot about that watch. Okay. Will I ever do a visit and a video or two at Brooklands? Maybe. Maybe. Okay. Thoughts on the new 4 Series? It's horrific, isn't it? It's probably an alright drive, but it's probably just a luxury car now, really. Will Lexus ever build the LCF? Well, they said they were going to, didn't they? They said they were going to. LC500 is still a massively underrated car. Michael Huntley's also spotted the fact that I misspelt subscribers and some. It has been changed. It has been changed on the intro. I tell you what it is my keyboard broke ages ago. This is what I'm doing my channel membership thing for. I'm trying to raise money to get a new keyboard. This is a £5 keyboard. This is what I've been using recently because my normal keyboards are about 150 quid a go. And I am trying to save up for them. So I have been diverting all my money into making content and making stuff that you actually notice, whereas you'll never notice. Well, you shouldn't notice, but evidently the B on this is a little bit sticky, hence subscribers rather than subscribers. So, yeah, there you go. Okay. Do I think government will relent and allow hybrids to be built after 2035? I think that they should. I think they're very stupid. Okay. Is the 993 overrated? Good question, that. I think there is a chance that yes, it is. It's definitely overpriced. So I saw the other day, now I don't know if it actually sold. But on collecting cars, they had a 993 Turbo S, a rare car, sure, nice car, sure. The bidding was up to £270,000. So that's something like 4 times what I paid for my 550. So let's ask you guys. If you had a choice, ignore the money, okay? Let's just pretend someone's going to pay for all your fuel. They're going to pay for all your maintenance, all that jazz. You've not got to worry about any of that stuff. But you can have, as your fun car, You're not going to worry about dailying it, nothing like that. You could have either a 550 Maranello in whatever spec you want, or 993 Turbo or Turbo S. Which would you have? I'm curious. Which would you have? So, yeah, the 993 is not overrated, but it is overpriced. Would I import an E60 manual M5 from the States? No, I wouldn't, because it'd be wrong-hand drive, and also everyone that drove one said that the gearbox wasn't actually that good. Do I ask people to review their cars, or do I wait for them to reach out? No, they pretty much all reviews is people coming to me. Very lucky that happens. Okay. Favorite video game console of all time. You know what? Gonna get on a limb here. The Dreamcast. Okay. What's my opinion on many people demonizing classics due to safety concerns lately? It's people with too much time on their hands, isn't it? Is there any particular car community that's very sensitive and react badly to criticism? Yes. McLaren owners, or more accurately, the McLaren owners group, and Tesla owners. They're pretty bad. They're both pretty bad. Okay. All right. Spark. Oh, 10 quid from Sparky towards the keyboard. Thank you very much, Sparky. That'll at least get me some F keys for a new keyboard. You superstar. Thank you very much. It's very kind. Okay. Would I ever do a review of a remade car, like a Jensen Interceptor or something like that? Yeah, I would love to. Yeah, I'd absolutely love to. Will I ever review classics? So, Bill, a lot of people have asked me about classics on the channel. I will tell you, this month, already filmed, already shot, these are some of the reviews that you have to look forward to. And you can all tell me if you think this is classics enough for you, okay? You have the Oldsmobile I know, Florence, classics galore this month. Oldsmobile 442. You've got the Civic EG6. You've got a 1997 BMW 840 Ci. You've also got a 1971 Ford Mustang Mach 1. C3 Chevrolet Corvette. Resto-modded Chevy 210 Coupe 1957. A 1968 Chevrolet Camaro SS 427 big block with a manual, 4 on the floor. And 390 cubic inch, very, very rare, big block Mustang. And E30 and E36 BMWs. A lot of classics this month. It's me interested to see. I'm taking a bit of a risk with this one because it's going to be very, very different content to what's just come out. So I'm hoping that, I'm hoping that people are going to enjoy it. So, okay. So, just trying to catch up. Sorry, I always get everything moves. Train set or scale electrics. You know what? I'd probably actually go for a train set these days. Michael, the original owner of your 550 got his money worth in terms of maintenance and service with the free service. Well, the free servicing for 7 years didn't exist when the 550 was new. He'd have loved that if that was the case, but no, things have changed. Tax mentioned the interior of my 550, which loads of people saw, loads of people commented on in the Doug video. Very few people actually realised it's just a Ferrari thing. They were all coated in this weird rubberized coating, even up to 458. Still suffers from it, I believe. And they just go off over time. It's a time thing, not an age thing. Everyone thought my car previously owned by Edward Scissorhands, not the case. So that is being sorted. There's a guy in the States, Dave, runs a company called Sticky RX. He's done some cars, the Yellow 355 that was on the channel before. He's done that, and he will be the one working. Florence, do you want to get on the TV again? Or it's the YouTube? You're just sitting there making a racket. Okay, so yes, that will be done. Do I not see the fun in a bath? No, I don't. I would love to collab with Steph on one, but I think he wouldn't want to risk his relationship with FCA because he's got a good thing going there. Okay, so here we go. Any interest in off-road driving? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I might. I'm just so busy with other stuff. Alexandra wants me to reach out to Seen Through Glass. You'll have to do that. He knows where I am. He knows where to find me. If he wants me on the podcast, I know he will ask. Okay. All right. Do I have any plans to take the 550 on a road trip to Maranello? Yes. Yes, I do. Next year, gonna get me, a few friends with Ferraris. We're gonna road trip to Ferrari. That's the plan. That's the plan. And I want to try and work with Ferrari on this, and I want to try and do something a little bit special. I think getting emotional randomly. I always had this kind of hope that I would be a Ferrari owner one day. It started off, to be quite fair, as an arrogance. I was always like, one day I'm going to have a Ferrari, yes. Took me a long time to figure out how I was actually going to make that happen. And then in fairness, in January, if you'd said to me, are you going to be a Ferrari owner this year? I'd have been like, nah, next year maybe, probably more realistically 2022. And things all happened very, very suddenly. Stuff all went a bit strange, all went a bit crazy. It's amazing how much life can change in such a short space of time. But so I always had this idea, this expectation, I guess, that I'd be a Ferrari owner. Didn't think it'd be a 550. I didn't think I'd be able to afford one, even though that's what I always wanted. Never in my wildest dreams did I actually think that I would be a Ferrari owner and Ferrari would be interested in me. Like Ferrari would want to help me out with the car, which is what they do. And I'm going to be working with them on some different things. So that's just a crazy scenario to be in. That's absolutely mad. Like every day I do this stuff. And you guys, Sparky sent me money to help me buy a new keyboard. Like, you know, guys like Ollie and Wayne joining up on the membership thing. Like, being able to chat. I got 220 people watching me. Like, you're mad, all of you. But thank you. It's nuts. So it's a really special thing. So next year, yeah, when I've got some time, I've got some money, I'll do a proper road trip, a few thousand miles with the 550, do the Autobahn, go to Italy, do the Amalfi Coast, stuff like that, do a bit of a tour, northern Italy in particular. Obviously go to Maranello. What I really want to do, I want to take the car around Fiorano. I don't care if it's a parade lap and I got to drive at 10 mile an hour with a man waving a flag in front of me or something like that. I don't care. I want to picture my car on Fiorano or outside the factory gates at Maranello. I think that's got to happen. Then what I'll have to do is I'll then have to go and buy a 355 because the next thing I want to do is I want to recreate the start of the 355 Challenge arcade game or the Dreamcast game it was for me, where the car comes out of the factory at the start. So that's the next thing. So yeah. And by the looks of it, many of you would have had a 550 rather than a 993, given the choice. And then if you bear in mind that then let's put the money back into the equation, the 993 is like 4 times the price of or at least triple the price maybe of a 550. That's crazy, right? So yeah. And Sparky, yeah. Fun fact: I didn't even buy my Dreamcast. I won it in a Fantasy Formula One in 1999 through a company called Special Reserve. Don't know if many people remember Special Reserve, but it was like a mail order / online thing. Get video games and computer stuff through them. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. So what's wrong with Tesla owners? Well, they're like the vegans of the car world. That's what they are. They can't let anything go. Okay. So a lot of you excited for the classics, which is great. You know, loads and loads of stuff. Okay. So there's going to be a place. So Anthony, we'll have to see if we can convert you. There's a bit of old stuff, a bit of new American stuff. Give us some of it a watch. See what you think. Ben wants me to go to Munich Legends for a day to do some shoots. I don't know. I don't think they'll probably let me there. Hey ho. Okay. Sinjin has done the channel membership thing. Thank you very much, Sinjin. Very much appreciated. Well, I tried to get Ratha de Mesa. I tried to put Florence on. She's just over there now. She's just sat in the windowsill, just watching the world go by. You know, guarding the house. Do I listen to any car podcasts? Yeah, I listen to Behind the Glass on occasion. Not many other than that, to be honest. That's kind of the main one. What was the most formative non-car experience that I ever had that really made me learn a lot about life? Tough one. Probably not anything I want to talk about in the live stream, if I'm honest. Paul says I need to get a relationship with Lancaster. No, I don't. I do not like Lancaster at all. But congratulations, you're getting a 612. All right. Oh, Chris, welcome to channel membership as well. Thank you very much. Glad you enjoyed. Sanj, can anyone join the Ferrari road trip? I don't know. I need to work out the logistics of all of that. That's gonna be done next year. Would I go so far as to saying my 550 could even be in the same room as a 130i? I mean, honestly, Owen, like the hello, Florence. The thing that I find, you know, I get to drive loads and loads of nice cars all the time, and look, I'm loving having the 550 Nitro. It's great. It's fantastic. It's brilliant. But if the sun is out, it's the Honda's keys that I go for. That's what I'm after. The 130 hopefully is going to come back at some point, or something very close to it, and that really will be the kind of runaround car, because the problem is the town I live in, all the parking spaces are pretty small, so it's either the S2000 or the parking the Ferrari in the local town. If there's people there, it's not easy. Florence, you're going to get on the internet, or are you not? Because you're indecisive now. You kind of sat there like, oh wow, Mike, very very kind, thank you. That's going to go on the keyboard fund, I think. Yeah, Chris, thank you. The memberships thing is I had a lot of people. I had a lot of people that wanted to help me and support me. Yep. Okay. Thank you very much, Florence. A lot of people want to help me and support me, and I had the Patreon thing going for a while, and I actually took the little Patreon bit out of the videos when lockdown kicked in, because, you know, money was tight for everyone, so I didn't really want to be sort of shoving it in faces. The issue was that a lot of people that watched on Patreon didn't like using Vimeo, and I knew that memberships was a thing, but YouTube just for some reason weren't unlocking it for me. I met all the requirements, all that jazz, yeah. What is YouTube's cut? Well, here's the kicker. YouTube's cut is 30%. Of what you donate, and that's the same for this. All the donations on here is it's a big cut, but it's the easiest way of you guys giving to me directly. So yeah, it's horrendous. Oh, Twitch is 50%. Those greedy so and so's. Oh, I'm glad I'm not a Twitcher. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. So yeah. Is there such a thing as a Goldilocks car where the BHP is just right and you never want any more? It really depends, Michael, because it's like it depends on the road. It depends on the circumstances. That's the truth of it. Yeah. 135s are quite nice as well. Why don't I like Lancaster? They have been difficult to me and many people I know. And I should point out, I'm talking specifically about Lancaster Colchester, and a long time ago. But they were very difficult to me and other people that I know, and they've been difficult over a long enough period that it didn't seem like to be an accident. Yeah. Do I make more than $1 million a year off YouTube? I mean, yeah, in yen probably. I don't know. So yeah, people are shocked as I am. Find out, yeah, Twitch Twitch takes 50% of the. That's ridiculous. Oh, favorite Nicolas Cage movie. Come on, everyone, let's get involved in this. The favorite Nicolas Cage. Oh, he's got some good stuff. I mean, Con Air is pretty much required viewing, isn't it? I rewatched The Rock the other day, which is also a lot of fun, and I want to quote that film, but I can't because I'll get demonetized. Yeah, Gone in 60 Seconds, George. Yeah, Gone in. Oh, a couple of you like Gone in 60 Seconds. Yeah, tricky one. There's three films in a row. Three films in a row that Nicolas Cage did. Drive Angry. Drive Angry is actually great. Drive Angry is great. There's three films in a row where Nicolas Cage ends the film getting thrown through the air by an explosion. The first one is, I think the first one was The Rock, then it's Con Air, then it's Face Off, thrown through the air in the end by an explosion. That was, yeah. Michael found an old article about me from 2012 about camera work on the internet. I believe that will almost definitely have been a thing. The Wicker Man, not the bees. Do I listen to Joe Rogan? No, I don't. My mate James pretty much worships him. Random question from Chris. Buy a 987.2S manual now or save it for a 981? No, get the 987. Get the 987. Thinking about an FK8 Type R, am I still a massive fan? Yes, I am. Also try the Hyundai i30N. That's what I would say. My favourite non-car YouTubers, honestly, I don't have time to watch a lot of it. My girlfriend watches a lot of non-car content, obviously. A lot of squishy makeovers, I think it is, all that sort of stuff. Yeah. So, what other Nicolas Cage movies? He's done some great stuff. There's one with a vampire where he goes mad and eats a pigeon, I think. I'm not making that up. It's Nicolas Cage. I'm not making that up. But Con Air surely is peak Cage. That accent, that haircut. Like, Con Air is one of those films where just everyone there was clearly having a lot of fun. A lot of fun. My favourite car TV advert. What's the Steve McQueen Ford Puma? That was a good one. Lord of War. Oh, Lord of War was great, yeah. As is Snake Eyes, yeah, Brian De Palma. Snake Eyes is one of those films, it should have been much better than it was, but it's still a good film. Favourite, yeah, the Steve McQueen, I remember that one. That was quite cool. I love the Audi R8 V10 where it's on the dyno because it's just clever. It's tricky. Really, really tricky, actually. There have been some great car adverts in the past, though, but that's the shame, isn't it? They're all in the past. Although I love the stuff they get to do in America. In America, they can just do whatever they want. Just do anything. It's great. Oh, the sport car and the pigeon. Yeah, no, that was, yeah. Yeah, and there's one with a cat. The one with the cat was evil. I'm not surprised they banned it. I'm pretty sure they deliberately wanted to get something that was going to be banned. I think that's what they were going for. Yeah, that's pretty cool. The COG advert as well. And Honda did one as well. They did a live advert, didn't they? Where they were skydiving and they like wrote Honda, I think. Like, yeah, that was mad. Like that was really, really cool. Oh yeah, Bad Lieutenant. That's another good Nick Cage film. And yes, I did know that Nicolas Cage is related to Francis Ford Coppola. I actually saw him recently in what was it called? Color Out of Space, directed by this really cool director called Richard Stanley, who kind of disappeared off the face of the earth. If you ever want to know one of the reasons I left the film industry, there was a documentary. I'm trying to think what the hell it was called, but it was about the island of Dr. Moreau. Sort of film from the mid-90s that went horribly wrong, and it just everything they can go wrong. It's obviously about a big budget film, but honestly, the budget and the problems didn't really make a difference. So yeah, it was nuts. And anyway, so the director didn't work in Hollywood didn't work at all for like 20 odd years. And he came back recently with a film called Color Out of Space, starring Nicolas Cage as an alpaca farmer based on an H.P. Lovecraft story where some weird random stuff comes out of space and then everything starts going really, really strange. If you're into like, it's cool. It's really, really nuts. What do we got? Jay, you have done some good stuff as well. That is very, very true. Johnny, did I direct adult movies? That's what's going around online that I did anyway. Well, the funny thing is that it only takes about 5 minutes of searching to find the films that I actually did work on, which is nothing very exciting at all. The reason I don't actually the reason I don't deny that I worked in an adult film is because it's a very exciting rumor to have flying around, which is quite hilarious. R35 GTR or GT86 and Pocket the Cash? R35. Yeah, R35, definitely. Okie dokie. Oh, Kai, welcome, another member. Thank you very much. Very, very kind. Yeah, Mega Skaters wants me to get a haircut. I do need a haircut, don't I? Quite badly. Do I think the Lotus Evora 400 is more fun than the Cayman R? Well, Cayman R, I'm not sure because I haven't driven one yet. But on Tuesday, that might change. Fingers crossed. But the Lotus is an amazing car. Very different experience to a Cayman. Really is. Best generation of the Lotus Elise. For me, honestly, it's actually the Series 3. It drives just as well as the Series 2, but it's much, much better made. And I've not really ever been that much of a fan of the Series 1. I know it's sacrilege, right? But I never gelled with the looks, and they are a little bit ropily put together. That's just me. What am I drinking tonight? Tonight, I've gone very, very fruity. This is Diet Coke with lime in it. There's pre-mixed stuff as well, which I'm being really lazy, but yeah. So, back to cars. Exhaust plans. Interesting. Related specifically to the 550, I was immediately planning to get a Fabio Fiamengi exhaust, which sounds incredible, and I've got in touch with the guy as well. But I'm going to leave it for just for now. I just had this feeling that if I go and spend a load of money on the exhaust, if something comes up, I'll kick myself that I'd spent money on something frivolous. Plus, I do kind of like the noises that it makes as standard. Okay. Alex was confused by my Vantage V12 video, and he thought it felt like I'd woke up on the wrong side of bed the day that I did it. No, I'd woke up on a great side of bed. What is my score out of 10? Would I go for it over a 997 GTS? Good question. I've just driven a 997 GTS. The really odd thing here, the really weird thing, is that the 997 GTS would almost make a better GT than the Vantage. The Vantage, I felt like it's just too stiff. Sounds great, looks great. Don't like the wheels, easily changed. But I would want the carbon bucket seats in it because they're actually comfier than the normal ones. But yeah, it's just a little harder than it needs to be, and I just feel like the V8 is actually. Look, I nearly never say this. I know loads and loads of people always talking about cars being like, oh, actually the lighter engine is the better one and all that stuff. And I normally think, actually, no, the bigger is the better one. With the Vantage, it's the first time that I actually really genuinely agree that maybe the smaller engine car is the better one. But I also want a DBS. It's tricky. I hope that's something of an answer. Okay. Why aren't Camaros being big in the UK? Because people just don't even give them a chance, and they will just go and buy an M3 or an M4. Simple as that. Or a Mustang. Because if you want your American fix, that's what most people look at it. They're not looking at the best car. They just want an American muscle car. I don't know, strictly, it's not a muscle car. And you could get a Mustang from a load of places, or you can go to the one dealer that we have for Camaros and fight with them to get one. And you know what? Camaro's better than the Mustang by a long way. Hate to say it, but it's true. Okay. Do I think that a decent set of aftermarket coilovers would improve the Z4M Coupe, or would I rather have an E46 CSL? Well, CSL I've never had a chance to drive, but yeah, coilovers can't make the car any worse. Oh, Owen's got the 97 Series 1 Elise with the MMC. You got the MMC brakes. Wow. That's pretty rare. That's pretty rare. Did Doug Demuro mentioned me on Reddit? Did he really? Did he really? Oh, right. I'm gonna have to look this up now. I'm gonna have to look this up. So you're all gonna have to excuse me. I'm gonna. Doug mentioned me. You know what? I have no disliking for Doug for the same reason I have no disliking for Shmi at all. I know a lot of people will dislike those guys for various reasons, but the fact is that you know, he knows his audience. He knows his audience. As simple as that. Okay. Where is Doug? Oh dear. Yeah, okay. If someone's got the link to where Doug mentioned me, I would love to see that. That would be great. If one of you guys can go forth and find that, I would love to see that, because that would be quite cool to see. Is there a car in the same bracket as the E39 as an old daily driver? Cheap, just as well built, handsome in its old age. E55 Merc would be the obvious comparison for that. Very different kind of car. But yeah, a completely different character. Okay, have I seen The Room featuring Tommy Wiseau? I've seen a lot of it. So Harry Metcalf talks about the big costs on the 550 being lambda sensors and tyres. I don't know if the lambda sensors have been done on the 550. They probably have. And tyres. Yeah, the tyres are going to go. Is the blue EP2 Civic still around that I bought for my ex-girlfriend? No, it's not, because the car had to go. Am I excited for Top Gun 2? Yes, I kind of am. What's my opinion of the De Tomaso Pantera? Crazy weird car. Haven't driven one, so couldn't really say much more than that. The Organo, welcome to my channel member thing. Thank you very much, very kind of you. Have I driven a Ferrari 612? No, I haven't, but I will. Did I see Sideways Sid, aka Sid North's review on the Lotus Evora 400? Yes, I did actually. Yeah, I did watch that, and I thought he did an okay job. There's a lot he missed out of it, but it's kind of, it's kind of unfair of me when I watch other people's Evora 400 videos, because I'm probably one of the people that drove a 400 more than anyone else outside the factory, so I know quite a bit about the Evora, more than any other car, I think. And, you know, he's probably just got in it and drove it. I would like to have seen him talk a little bit more about the handling, because Sid can drive. So, yeah. Would I like to see a V8 back in the Lotus again? Yes, but only if it was a good one, and I'm just not sure that that's going to happen. Most spec-sensitive car? Good question. Very good question, actually. The first R8 V8 I found to be very, very spec-sensitive, and all sorts of stuff. Oh, Tim, has become a furious roadie. Thank you very much. So the reason the membership things have some weird names, which if you haven't guessed, is Mad Max references. You have to give them you have to give them names, and I'm like, the YouTuber like create 3 different levels of membership, and I'm like, okay, and I'm like, I don't know. I used to name them after different types of fuel on Patreon, and I was like, oh, I'll do something different now, and it was like, oh, I don't know, I don't want to call it like bronze, silver, and gold or something, or like, you know, JayEmm basic. It's like, I don't know. So I thought, you know what, I'll do the Mad Max films. Skipping the first one. So yeah, it's what is it? It's the Road Warrior is the first one. The Beyond Tuberdome, and then Furious Roadies is the top one. So Tim's gone for the top one. Thank you, Tim. Okay, Clay Basher. Thank you very much. That'll keep me in Diet Coke, and if I'm getting fruity, I can have a swig of Gorilla Glue. Okay. Would I review a Rover SD1? Yes, I would. Laurie might never forgive me. Laurie might never forgive me if I did that without him, but yes, I absolutely would review an SD1. GT86 or Porsche 944? I got 944, I think. Love me a classic. So yeah, there we go. Yeah. Anyway, I have to get up very early in the morning. I'm afraid, as much as I'm enjoying everything. I'm up early in the morning because I've got to go off to lovely Great Yarmouth with the 550 to go and get the radio sorted out, get this old sat nav out. I'm going to be trying to use tomorrow. I'm going to be up early in the morning, 6:30 or something. I'm going to be using the 15-year-old text-based sat nav that came in the car because I do want to have a go with that before it gets ripped out of the car, and I think that'll be a bit of a laugh. So yeah, I want to say a big thank you to everyone for joining. Yeah, I will have another live stream next month, probably the first Sunday of the month. Don't know what's going to. It's going to be the 2nd, I reckon, 2nd of August if I'm about. And yeah, thank you all for joining. Thanks everybody that's donated. Thanks everybody that has become a channel member. If you haven't, please do go and check that out because it's a very, very useful thing, obviously, for me, and hopefully you'll get some stuff out of it as well. There's a couple of bits on there now, and there is a lot more, a lot more stuff to come. So thank you all. Have a lovely evening. Enjoy, as always. You've been wonderful. I've been here. See you soon. Bye-bye. Thanks, Ronnie.